Welcome to another episode, everyone. OG Blood member explains why the Bonnie Hunna Bloods are the most aggressive blood set. All other blood sets are aggressive. They had to be. But he says that the Bonnie Hunnas are the most aggressive blood set. Now, of course, he's from Bonnie Hunna, but it's at the same time hard to make an argument with this. I'll explain why in just a minute.
Now, you, bounty hunter blood, kind of explain the history behind that one a little bit.
Well, the history is for...
This is Bonnie Hunna BJ, of course, OG Bonnie Hunna BJ, and this is Mogul State of Mind, YouTube channel Mogul State of Mind. Shout out to Mogul State of Mind, shout out to OG Bonnie Hunna BJ.
As far as we go, our first generation, my big homies before me, we started out, we were just, like I say, we was a segregated project, housing project from the Jordan Downs, the Imperial Courts, High Center Village, which housed all black families that was hosting from different areas, descending to Los Angeles, from the South, as far as Alabama, Louisiana, Texas, you name it. And so when they got to Los Angeles, realizing, wait, damn, we didn't know we was coming to the milk of land and honey for a new life, and we thought we were gonna live in Los Angeles and get a big home in Beverly Hills somewhere, but these white folks got a plan already. They making everybody stop right dead smack in the middle of Watts, and you only got 2 spots you can go to. It's the only little section in South Central Los Angeles that we can contain and go to, or you gotta get off the train and stay right here in Watts. And when you stay right here in Watts, now you got a 4 different dynamic section that you gotta pick from. Either go east, which leads you to Nixon Garden, housing projects or High Centers, or you go west of the tracks, which is gonna lead you to the Jordan Downs, WVG area, the new homes, the Blue Gates, things of that nature. So it was a segregation that was already set up for us that we really didn't realize as blacks at that time, because when they built the projects, the housing projects were developed in 1944, 1945, and 1955, which we were birthed in 1955. And the housing projects in Jordan Downs was birthed right after us. And then the first actual housing project was built, which was the smaller projects, which was High Center Village, 1944. And so these projects were built based on concrete barracks only because of the wars, World War I and II. So they were built for single white families at the time, because they actually, and that's the crazy part about the flip side to it, was predominant Watts had all whites then, and they lived in the housing projects. So coming up into the 50s, when everything started exchanging and it flipped over and it migrated to us, then we started living in the housing projects, and then that's where they barricaded us. It kept us all. And then they came up with this Reprimanded Act, a ruling where they got with all the realtors. They said, well, you know what? At one point, because our families who were descending from these different places of the South and different areas, and then if you didn't stop in Watts, then you would shoot up to Northern California. That's why Northern is so predominantly connected with the South, because all the Southerners are Northern.
Yeah.
So it's a combination, it coincide. And so with that being that way, then Watts became that predominant for the black culture, is where it's at, Watts. It's either Watts or South Central, or you go in Northern California. You can't go to Compton because they were all ran by farms. There are farms up there, and but farms in Compton.
Is it still like that now?
Horses, yeah, certain places, hell yeah.
Okay.
You can literally go down, let's say 132nd, 131st, a street in Compton, and you'll see houses, but you had that smell in the air because they got farms in the backyard.
Damn, that's crazy.
Like the homie Slick from Campanella. He got a farm, but he literally live in the hood. Slick lives in the hood, smack dead in Compton, in the hood area, but he runs a farm. He got a real farm and a ranch, converted it into his house.
Now, did you choose, what is the first set of bloods that ever came up? Is it?
The Brims and Pirus.
Brims and Pirus.
For as that historical part of history, and that could be, like I say again, that can be where the separation is explained today as the only part that I could see is separation, and that was because in the beginning, it was the Brims and the Pirus. We were the Green Jackets. Excuse me, we were the Green Jackets, and then we had the Pygmies, but we weren't a gang. It was just a clique. It was a clique that was formulated in our neighborhood to keep the whites and the supremacists out from coming into our community. So cliques started being formulated throughout the city.
Yeah, of course. That's why all of the gang banging really started, to keep certain demographic away from the hood, away from terrorizing the neighborhoods, and a way for blacks to unify. And of course, it has devolved into all-out war and self-destruction. And I'm not sure exactly what he was saying about the projects and Watts. I mean, I heard what he said, but it is really, or it was all black. Or at one point, it is not that way anymore. At one point, it was whites there in the projects, as it were, around a lot of the country. But it has since turned into something totally different.
Now, did you turn blood because a lot of people see the conception like people turn blood to have protection from Crips, as if Crips had this overwhelming influence or was terrorizing people, so the Bloods had to be formed to counter the Crips. Is that accurate?
That's pretty accurate in a lot of ways, in a lot of areas, a lot of neighborhoods, but not when it came to Nixon guards. The pressure wasn't applied to us where we had to make a choice, even though it was presented to us, but it wasn't the pressure to us. A lot of hoods, pressure was applied. Like, nigga, this is what it's gonna be. Nigga, you niggas is riding with this blue team.
Yeah.
And they went over there and just smashed. When it came to us, it wasn't like that. It couldn't be like that. So because we had a unification one time of all the housing projects being pro-black, that's when the Crippin came in and put the separation in effect, because now the Jordan Downs decided to take a stand and make a choice.
Gotcha.
The west side of the tracks decided to take a stand and make a choice. Everything over there became Crips. When Raymond and them got to that side of the east side and smashed down in that part of Watts and got with the Days and the Brims and all these major names and the Pygmies and different families that was from that era at that time, and certain little brothers that was in that generation, the first generation, they became adapt to the Crip motion. So it became Jordan Down Crips. Once the Jordan Downs established, they name and stamped their name in the game as far as Jordan Down Crips, they merged and they blossomed into the Grape Streets. They changed their whole color system, everything. And that's how that was developed as far as their history goes, because they started out as Jordan Down Crips, and it used to be WVG, Watts Video Grape Street, which was Mexicans.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, real thorough history. The WVG came from Watts Video Grape Street. Feel me? So then the G Street, the G was replaced.
Yes, they still have WVG, Watts Video Grape, but I'm not sure that they are the ones that started Grape Street. The Grape Streets have been around for a very long time. The project, they were, at first, of course, the Jordan Down Crips, as OG Bonnie Hunna BJ alluded to, but they've been Grape Street Crips, Grape Street Watts Crips for quite a long time, and are the biggest hood in Watts.
And took him by the Jordan Downs with the Grape Streets with the purple rag. So they separated themselves from the blue rags. And that's what made that separation for them.
Gotcha.
And then they became like us. We're basically the biggest blood set in Los Angeles and one of the most predominant blood sets, the most aggressive, neutralizing blood set in Los Angeles. And I'm not saying that from putting any of the blood sets down, putting any homies down.
Yeah, you can't put any other blood sets down. You can't put any other homies down. At the end of the day, a lot of these blood sets are very aggressive. Even the smaller ones, the bounty hunters, are very big. They are a very big hood, as BJ here alluded to. But he has some truth to what he's saying. The bounty hunters are indeed known for being aggressive. At one point, the police would not even go in the Nixon Gardens at nighttime. The police wouldn't go. It wasn't nothing over there but dope fiends and strawberries and shootings and guns and individuals hanging out and the police would just let them do whatever they wanted to do in the project because they were scared to go over there. Not only that, they've unalived about 12 police, 10 police or something. Yeah. So I mean, they've been known. They've been known for putting in work. It's not really a place you want to be. In Watts, in the Nixon Gardens, if you don't know what you're doing, if you're not from over there, you're going to find yourself in a world of trouble. They are aggressive. The bounty hunters are indeed aggressive. The most aggressive, I'm not a blood. I can't. He is. Well, he pretty much said they're one of the most aggressive, but he also said that he went on and said that they're extremely aggressive and very big, and they are. But a lot of the blood sets had to be aggressive because the Crips far outnumber the Bloods. In every area where the Bloods are at, they're outnumbered by the Crips. When they go to jail, they're outnumbered by the Crips. In prison, they are outnumbered by the Crips. So they really have had no choice but to be aggressive in order to defend themselves and to go on the offensive. They've had to be tough. And they are. They're very tough and structured. The Bloods in general.
But it's the fucking truth. It's facts. And I stand on it. And Jordan Downs became the same way amongst the Crips.
Okay.
The Jordan Downs became an umbrella where a lot of the Crips in Los Angeles followed the Jordan Downs lead, especially in the system as well as on the street, because them niggas was the same opposite of us. They would put their work in, and when it came to the Crips couldn't just come to the Jordan Downs and formulate and take over.
Gotcha.
So they had to go in cahoots with them.
They had to go in cahoots with the Grape Street Crips. Yeah, the Grape Streets are very aggressive. He's saying that the Grape Streets are the Crip version of the bounty hunters, that they're just as strong, they're just as aggressive, and they are. Right there in Watts is very dangerous, it's very violent, it is very aggressive. These hoods have been going at it, having wars for decades now. Some things, have simmered down some, thankfully, but it's been going on for some time. And I would second that certainly the Grape Streets are one of the more aggressive Crip sets, certainly was back in those days. And the bounty hunters, yeah, man, I mean, they are large, they're very deep, they're in the projects, and it's, again, a place that you don't want to, if you're not from the projects, if you're not from over there, you just don't want to be over there. There'd be no reason to be over there if you're not from over there. Let me know what you think in the comments. Shout out to Mogul State of Mind, OG BJ, Bounty Hunter BJ. Of course, he's from the Nixon Gardens. He's an OG from Bounty Hunter. But that doesn't mean that doesn't negate what he's saying. He said that this is how he feels. He's keeping it real, basically no matter where he's from, he will be saying the same thing. Of course, being from there, having inside, information about how dangerous your gang is, gives you more of a right to speak on it. But again, I'm not going to disagree with it. Let me know what you think. Who do you think is the most aggressive blood set? Stay safe and stay free, people.